Good morning, YouTube. Courtney here with Knowledge Well Media. Just checking in with you on this April the 7th. Wow, time is flying. All these things going on around the world, around the states, and around our different particular neck of the woods. And definitely no shortage of news as usual. Exciting times, though. It's an exciting time to be alive. But again, Courtney here with Knowledge Well Media, just checking in with you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Hit that button right down there after you subscribe so that you get notifications each time I post a new video. All right, so let's get to it. First off, I want to mention that Facebook is somewhat participating in a little bit of censorship. I actually got a notification myself when I copied this one of my YouTube videos over to Facebook, and the notification basically told me that anytime you mention 5G in relations to the COVID-19, and it's if you're trying to correlate the two, basically that's fake news, and they actually use that term. So I thought that was interesting. So definitely a sore spot there when you hit on those particular topics and subjects, 5G and COVID-19. You mix the two, you're probably going to get flagged. All right, so just a heads up on that. Also interesting, stimulus checks being held. I don't know if you've personally applied for it. I won't be, but those stimulus checks that the government is promising, people are complaining that they're not getting them, and they've gone through the process of application and still haven't received anything or heard any word about them. So interesting thing there. Was listening to, I think it was Gregory Mannarino over at traderschoice.net, and the Fed president, he's reporting, wants to make, is proposing mandatory vaccines. And I, in my opinion, I'm seeing a correlation between the stimulus checks being held and the mandatory vaccine potential. Okay, if you can imagine, perhaps they're thinking, well, this is a way that we can get everybody to be vaccinated. Being, receiving your checks, or the receipt of your checks being contingent upon your acclimating to their program of vaccinations. So there's definitely something to look out for there. All right. Another thing, voting booths are still open. I guess the Supreme Court, definitely of Wisconsin, is still going to allow people to do in-person voting, apparently. I thought that was kind of contradicting to the overall message of the danger of this so-called pandemic, and they would still have in-person voting. They're just looking for you to be cautious about, your interaction with people, keeping a safe distance and all that. But given the concentration and the uptick of this supposed pandemic, it just seems strange that they would still allow voting to go on in person when everything else has been shut down. Restaurants, our government, pieces of the government, a lot of the state has been shut down all around the country. But voting, they're going to still allow to be in person. I just thought that was very interesting and somewhat hypocritical in their message. When you can do absentee ballots and things like that, I'm sure that most of you have already seen that. But so I would think that they would push more of that than this in-person voting. But I don't know. What say you on that? It seems kind of contradicting, given the fact that they're basically shutting the country down due to this so-called pandemic. All right. What else? Claims of death by COVID-19 are lots of claims are coming in false. I shared that one video of the lady from Connecticut that works in the political sphere, and she's saying that the governor of Connecticut, she's able to prove by a preponderance of evidence that his claim that the death of the 2-year-old was actually caused by another incident within the family home, and they're doing these postmortems and just attributing the deaths because of this change in the requirement by, I think, the Congress, or not the Congress, the Disease Control Center, the CDC or whatever. All right. So just something to look into. Make sure you're doing, checking into these types of things, because these are exactly why the people are panicking, because of the fact that they think that there's no hope. They think that they're in imminent danger. And so, and how she was outlining that Connecticut was in great or dire straits economically, and how, the more claims of death by COVID, that would allow the states to get government grants and government funding. Okay, and so great article, or great video she actually did on there. I did put that in my previous video. You can look for the link there. Look down in the description down below. You got to hit that little drop down symbol there, and then you look down there, and I'll put some links in there to some of the stories that I am reporting on. Okay, so also just for all you moon watchers or sky watchers, whatever you want to call yourself, there's actually supposed to be a supermoon tonight. It's supposed to be at its closest 221,855 miles away. So, but they also said that there's supposed to be a string of supermoons this spring anyways. So if you missed the one tonight, you can check it out all through the spring. So supermoon tonight, something to do since we're all just, in the house anyways. But anyways, on with the news. I'm going to try and keep this one short. Illinois man shot himself and then his partner for fear of both having the coronavirus. All right, that was reported today. They were only 54 and 59 years old. And guess what? They both tested negative in their post-mortem. Sad. That's the type of panic that is being caused out here, guys. And that's why it's important for us to be in the know and not to just believe what the mainstream media is pushing without doing our due diligence and researching. Okay. So also, I will post this link down below. Lisa Haven, another one of my favorite podcasts I listen to, is outlining that there's a gross overestimation of the deaths caused by COVID-19. And that kind of ties in with that the Illinois man and shooting himself and his partner for panic, thinking that they have the COVID-19 because, the doctors or these medical examiners are being told how to report these deaths, even if they died of some other cause, but, the symptoms look similar to that of COVID-19, they just automatically put down COVID-19 death. All right. And there's a reason why, the states, they get funding from the government if they have these COVID-19 deaths. I mean, there's a conflict of interest there, right? All right. There's an opportunity for abuse, I should say. All right, moving right along. I don't know how many of you have caught the video of the prisoner who had, I guess, snuck a cell phone into the prison and was actually showing how the prisoners are being treated in there as far as the COVID-19, the panic, the coronavirus, whatever you want to call it or term it now. And he was going bed to bed, kind of showing the people that were supposedly dying, right before his eyes, and they were being pulled out of there. So I will put a link to that video down below in the description. Make sure you hit that little down arrow there, and then look for that link and go ahead and you tell me what you think about it. It's pretty much viral now. So I'll put that down below. But anyways, also just want to make sure I mention that if you guys are interested in the Zoom meetings, I'm doing live Zoom meetings. I do post. If you're local, I send out text messages to you. But if you're interested in being part of our Zoom meetings, have something that you want to talk about, discuss, or just listen into, look down below. I'll put a link to the next meeting. All right. Also, question: should we black out the news? For the preponderance of their reportings and how they're skewed and how they're driven by the political platforms and arenas. Should that be something we consider? Stop looking at and watching this mainstream media and start more tuning into local and YouTube videos and things like that. In other words, people that are on the same level with you, that live next door to you, they're posting these videos on YouTube. We are our own news, okay? And we have more of our best interest in mind. Okay, so is that something that we should start thinking about? Whether we should be paying attention? Because there's a lot of abuses out there. There's a lot of false claims out there by mainstream media. There's even video of these doctors being part of psyops and photo ops with mannequins in the bed versus actual humans, with these claims that mass deaths are happening and all that, but they're dummies in the bed, like dummies, like mannequins, really. I'll see if I can find that video and put it down below. Also, I got to get off of here real fast. No minimum cash requirements for banks. Okay, so I think they're removing the minimum cash requirements that a bank has to keep on hand as far as funds in their bank. I'll report on that more later. I got to get out of here. Anyways, don't forget to tune in, like, subscribe, and share. Get this message out there, all right? And look down in the description for anything else, all right? Informed conclusions are drawn here. Courtney with Knowledge Well, signing out. Bye. Have a great day.